Hey guys, uh, I feel like I could talk about rationalism. I'm assuming that's the correct term for it, which the basic layout of it is just this idea that everything should be like every idea should spring forth from this idea of like rationality, like ration, reason, and logic alone. It basically the way intellectualism has been since the Enlightenment, or at least the English Enlightenment, England, Scotland. And before I get on with it, uh, I guess I can say what inspired me or spurred me to make this. Shout out Abyss Stare. Go to his channel. And sorry if I sound tired right now. I just got off work. I just got the wage gauge. But he produced a video recently on meta ethics, and it spurred a discussion on the Discord this morning where Dismal was speaking on it, and then shout out Dismal, shout out Misa also. He spoke on it some, and well, a lot of these arguments with things like meta ethics, morality. You gotta say like philosophy of mind, where you have people like eliminative materialist, dualist, all that. Um, these ideas, at least the majority of them, spring from this idea of reason and rationality. When I think starting with those alone and nothing else is kind of foolhardy. I'm not here to like degrade anybody and all that, but I think things like rationality is meant to be used within a worldview or an ideology. Like it's not really something you can use on its own. That I see. At least as it seems like most ideas are to me. Where if you're basing everything just purely off logic and rationality and reason, it leads to this like Semitic game of semantics, and it's just like a flood of words, and then it leads to this deconstruction of basically all foundations. Like it's like, well, we can't exactly use language to drive these ideas because language is technically like a subjective cluster of sounds that people use to exchange like ideas, emotions, describe situations, whether past, present, and the possible future. You know, it, I'm sorry, like my brain froze up for a second there. But like, yeah, you can say language on its own is subjective. But back to the rationality point, I think I lost the plot there for a second. I went on a tangent about language being subjective. Well, a subjective medium of transferring information from one mind to another, one person to another, person to device. Rationality on its own doesn't really get you anywhere, in which you can be rational but not logical, and you can be logical and not rational, obviously. But really, all they are is just a tool, in my opinion. They're not the, um, like, they're a tool, they're not like the toolkit, if you understand what I mean here. Like, they're not the whole thing, they're just a small piece that on its own you can't really go far with or do much with. It's like if you have like a hammer, and like the hammer's rationality, obviously, and you have this hammer, and it's a tool that's useful, but how useful is the tool when there's nothing to like nail or hit with the hammer? It's Like you have it, it's nice to have, but if you don't have anything to use it with, it's not going to get you anywhere in whatever task you're trying to accomplish. And it leads this over complexity, I think, in trying to argue ideas. It like philosophy, at least. Like I appreciate it. Like I appreciate the postmodern rationalism, I guess, in a way, in that it lets you at least like stimulate your mind and exercise like your argumentative or thinking muscles, of course. It's great for that. But it gets to a point where it's just take it or leave it, dude. There's no like hard concrete argument. Like you can be like the is ought problem, and it's like, well, they're just words. Words kind of mean nothing without action at the end of the day. Like you can have the most airtight argument on anything philosophically, but if people don't take action with it, with that idea or argument you lay out, then what good is the idea? Like you can say for its own sake, yeah, or it's just like a mental exercise, yeah. It throws flood of words out. I want to talk about meta ethics just for a second here. At least what occurred this morning with the discussion I observed. They throw this flood of words out, and talk about subjectivity and objectivity and all that, and like the existence of facts. But I asked my house slave, in which, of course, people who interact with me, they know who my house slave is, and probably the more observant of my viewers know who my house slave is. And I just asked them, like, hey, what's your take uh, on this whole meta ethic, like, discussion or fiasco that's going on at the moment? Because I was attempting to apply Occam's razor just to see what that would be. And the thing is with Occam's razor is if you at least consider yourself to be a uh, intellectually good at these ideas or engaging with them, or you go argumentation, sometimes it's better to ask like a more simple-minded person, or somebody that's like childlike in a way, just to get like a you know less clouded or like stacked mind to give its intuitive take on these things. So I asked my jovial Negro, you know, his take on meta ethics, and he responds by saying, "Shit, I just doo doo in my pants, nigga." And I realized in that moment, he was correct. Because with that response, what he was really saying was not that he literally doo dooed in his pants. It was that it gets to a point of being this verbal defecation, and people are hoping you don't realize that's what they're doing. Like, that's what gets to a point. Like, I'm all fine with like arguing the semantics and stuff, but that's just what it seems like it becomes up to a point, you know? Like, if you get to the point of arguing your own existence and whether it's real or not, like, I think you've lost track in some way. I think that's the issue, just like rationalism. Because rationalism can't justify itself. It needs, like, you know, a presupposition, That's just the issue. Like, rationality and logic unto themselves aren't really um, justifications for themselves, if that makes sense. An idea that insists upon itself. Yeah, guys, I think that's about it. This I probably didn't get my point across here. I'm kind of tired, but I don't know. You guys can give your thoughts on like intellectualism or post Enlightenment rationalism. Anyways, guys, that's all I really got to say. Y'all take it easy.